Hello there everyone, welcome back to James Redmond TV, and Luis Diaz is my hero, he's my inspiration, he's my reason for living, and I love you, Luis Diaz, the personification of somebody who, he's been going through the toughest time of anyone in the league of recent weeks, and the way he made himself available of service, going through a tough time. If there was a baddest man in the league award, that goes to Luis Diaz by a landslide. So listen, I am aware that that was an underwhelming performance, result, and it's actually very detrimental, but I have got to start this on a positive note. I like positivity. I am someone who won't be blindly positive, but I will sit there and say Luis Diaz deserves the credit, he deserves the plaudits, he deserves the praise from all of you, me and neutrals, to go through what he just went through, come on and still score a goal and make an impact. I'm so happy that he got that moment. I'm so happy, and that's why I wanted to start this video on a positive note. We'll get into why it was bad, we'll get into why Luton aren't, that is a disgraceful result, and I've got a lot of things I want to say, but I had to start that video and spend the opening 1 minute talking about Luis Diaz. Please, in the comments down below, give your wishes, give your prayers, give your praise to Luis Diaz, and we'll hope to see Papa Diaz back very soon. And listen, I made a post on my Instagram prior to the game saluting Diaz for making himself available. I have been going through a tough time in my life, and the fact that I'm sitting there worrying about my problems when that man's going through what he's going through, yet to still come back, make himself available and score, that shows commitment. Why didn't we all like Naby Keita? Because he weren't willing to go out on the line for the team. If he had a little injury, he wanted to go and sit on the couch. Luis Diaz is completely different. Luis Diaz is someone who came right in. I wouldn't have worried I wouldn't have had a problem if he decided to take weeks, months, or however long he needed out to spend time with his family after such a traumatic incident. Yet he makes himself available. Therefore, his commitment to the team is bar none, and he deserves praise, and it would be a disjustice and a disservice if I didn't talk about that at the start of this video. But let me talk about my problems from this result today, because it's games like this where you lose out on league titles, and thankfully for Luis Diaz, we were able to walk away with something. And even though Luton did do well defensively, based on the chances that we got, we should have left that game with 2 or 3 goals. And now let me make it clear first and foremost, the defensive performance was not the best, but it was it certainly was good enough for us to outscore the amount of goals that they scored. We know that they caught us with a counter-attack, and that was because we were going even more attacking, because we hadn't scored to that point. Our biggest problem today was not defensive, our biggest problem was the chance conversion, and the majority of those chances fell to Darwin Nunez. Now let me make it clear, I have not been proven right by today's performance. I have not been proven right by Darwin Nunez by any, because you guys know that I've said Darwin Nunez needs to be an impact sub, and I've even said in the past that I don't know if Darwin Nunez will ever be a league winning striker, but the point that I always made there is that I don't know if he ever will. It's not that I'm ruling him out or that there's no room for error or there's no room for return, because this season Nunez has proven me, he's exceeded my expectations. So the point that I'm about to make isn't in defence or to clarify my stance on Nunez being right. My conclusion is not right on Nunez just because of today's performance. Let me make that clear. But if you're going to sit there and be honest with yourself, you've got to say that his missed chances cost us the game. Now, I'm going to go back to a claim that I've made, and I'm going to reinforce this stance right now, that Nunez needs to be an impact sub. And the reason why I'm making this stance, and I'll refute all the claims you guys make, based on, James, he scores a goal every 60 minutes or a goal contribution every 60 minutes. That's right, but a lot of those goals either come off the bench or in latter part of games, in the final 30 minutes, where everyone else is a little bit tired and his legs are just going. And if for some reason, with less time to think, he'll convert that ball in the back of the net. And then even when people say, he needs to go finishing practice, what's he been practicing for the past 5 years? I'd like to hope that we're putting emphasis on Darwin Nunez in finishing practice, and we're making him and we're putting him in these situations. The difference is, guys, finishing doesn't really improve beyond a certain age, and this is what you're seeing is what you're going to get. Darwin Nunez will be this forever, but this is every single game now where we're seeing at least the sitter be missed. There was a chance in the first half that he should have converted. There was the chance where it seemed that it could have been offside between Salah and Nunez, but that miss is so diabolically bad, it's insane. And he had a lot of other good chances, and I agree with the opinion when people say, but James, we wouldn't have as many chances if Darwin Nunez weren't on the pitch. As right as you are, it's not more chances solely doesn't equate to more goals. Here's the score. More chances from one player doesn't equate to more goals, should I say, because let me use Bobby Firmino. He was not a converter. He missed a few sitters, but Bobby Firmino's role wasn't to score goals. Nunez' sole role is to score goals. Firmino's role was to sit back and create more chances for the wingers, which is why we had two 20-goal-a-season wingers in Mane and Salah. So therefore, what does that mean? Even though we never had an out-and-out number 9, it was a greater benefit for the overall team. Let me make it clear, I believe Nunez has a heavy impact role on this team in the near and the distant future, but my stance is that it's as an impact sub. I'm not saying there's no games that he can't start. Stylistically, there's some games in the Premier League that Nunez would suit more than Jota and Gakpo, and also in the League Cup, and also in the Europa League. Nunez is more than capable of starting those games, but let me clarify, in games like today would have been perfect for Jota and perfect for Gakpo. Now let me make it clear as well that even though Gakpo and Jota wouldn't get as many chances, it is undisputed that they are better finishers than Darwin Nunez, in a sense that their conversion rate supersedes Darwin Nunez's conversion rate by miles. And the point is that Jota only needs 2 or 3 chances to score goals. Gakpo only needs 2 or 3 chances to score goals. Nunez needs about 6-7 chances to get 1 goal, and even today with the 6 chances he had, he couldn't score 1. Now listen, they weren't all proper out-and-out goal-scoring opportunities, but the 2 goal-scoring opportunities that he got, a world-class striker should be converting. So let me clarify, I'm not aligning this with some agenda you guys think I've got with Nunez. I am being truthful that we would be more beneficial of Gakpo starting, not because he solely would get as many chances of Nunez, but don't be close-minded. We literally had Bobby Firmino as our front man in the front line for the past 3 or 4 years, meaning if Gakpo played that same role, which he had done last season, we still scored a lot of goals. When Gakpo came in January, we went on that long win streak last season, so therefore evidence suggests that when Gakpo starts, it's very beneficial for our team. Evidence suggests if Jota gets a regular run of games in the number 9 position, he can score goals. Jota hasn't had a regular games in the number 9 position since the season where he got 20 goals prior to January, but evidence suggests when he does get those regular games, he only needs 1 or 2 chances and he scores. But this is why I'm saying Nunez still has a role, because all you people who cry about Darwin Nunez and think that this is hate, I love Darwin Nunez. I think I love him more than you, because you guys love this fake version of Darwin Nunez that doesn't exist. You love a version where Nunez is constantly 10 out of 10. That's not true. And here's the thing with me and Nunez. I love Nunez so much, and I think he's got such a big place in this team. He scores big goals in big games. He comes off the bench and does well, but evidence suggests that a lot of his goals come in the latter part of games. So let's say he starts, these goals are still likely to come around 60-70 minutes, and let's say if he comes off the bench, evidence suggests that he's going to go ahead and score these goals off the bench, like Newcastle, for instance. So what I'm leading to is that I don't want Nunez gone, and I think Nunez can be an amazing impact on this team, and I still think he can start certain games, but you cannot sit there and say Jota's not a better finisher and Gakpo's not a better finisher. They don't miss those type of sitters at all. So, because here's what would happen. If Gakpo plays more, Diaz and Salah get more chances. Szoboszlai will be able to play more forward and possibly get more chances himself because of the way Gakpo plays. But when Nunez plays, he's getting the majority of the chances, and if he's only scoring 10 to 20% of those chances, that's now a detriment to the team. So how about bringing him on in the latter part of games where he's got less chances to work with but still has that increased chance of scoring based on evidence? Last season, a lot of his goals came in latter part of games. This season, a lot of his goals came in latter part of games. He needs to be an impact sub. He's a better impact sub than Divock Origi because he gets more involved. He can create more assists. He works for the team. He applies the pressing. But he needs, when he starts, because he's getting the majority of the chances, it becomes a detriment. So I'm not hating on Darwin Nunez for all those Nunez sexuals. I love Darwin Nunez more than you. I don't even care. And that's because I'm being honest enough to sit there and say he superseded my expectation for this year. So he's actually already proven me wrong. But based on my statement of him being an impact sub, evidence and stats and minutes scored when he scores suggests he's better in those later moments. And the reason why he's got a goal contribution every 60 minutes is because he only gets those allocated minutes at the end of the game, but he maximises them. So let's make sure that we keep giving him the opportunities where he thrives most in, because when Gakpo starts, we got what we got last season, a long run of games. When Jota starts in number 9, we get what we get in the quadruple chasing season, where he scores 20 goals prior to January. Insane stuff that Nunez could never do, but that doesn't take away from Nunez. It's now, let's maximise Nunez's strengths, which is utilising him as a super sub. And I'd love to know your opinion as well, because people seem to really, really hate me and they go, James, you've got an agenda. No, an agenda would be Nunez needs to be sold off of today's performance. An agenda would be Nunez can't start games full stop because he's got no impact. I'm letting you know he's got the greatest impact off the bench. I'm letting you know that we can be a league-winning team with a striker of that ilk coming off the bench. No doubt about it. But him as our starting number 9, evidence today shows that we can't have him as a league-winning number 9, because as we know, the margins in a title race with City is this. And when Nunez is missing chances, which is costing us points against Luton, that is going to cost us an overall either league title, or let's say if it's a Champions League knockout first leg and Nunez is missing chances but we've conceded 2 goals. The scenario says that we need better, more clinical finishers. So when you raise the point, well, Jota and Gakpo wouldn't get as many chances, evidence suggests that the team still gets a lot of chances. Salah scores more, Diaz scores more when Nunez doesn't play. Not because of Nunez directly, but it's because when Nunez plays, we're adhering to giving him the majority of the chances, which is great because he's a chance magnet. Where the problem lies is the conversion of these chances. So it's not an agenda, it's not hate on Darwin Nunez. I love Darwin Nunez more than you. I'm simply saying I know his strengths. I know how to maximise Darwin Nunez, in my opinion. Not because I'm a genius, but because I look at evidence, and evidence says he scores in latter part of games or off the bench. He cannot be starting games against Luton and missing those sitters. It's every game now. Toulouse, he missed sitters, but luckily, because we have quality off the bench like Jota, Gakpo and all these players, they can create a lot of chances against Toulouse. Even in league games where he's missed sitters, it is diabolically poor, but that doesn't mean he's got no place in the squad. He's very much certainly got a place in this team. He has very much certainly got a place in our history. He's very much certainly got a place in scoring goals for Liverpool, but it's not as a regular starter. We've got to give more leeway and more respect to the likes of Jota and Gakpo. Jota doesn't get involved in games, but if you give him 2 or 3 chances, he is more likely to score 1 of those than if Nunez gets 5 chances or 6 chances, meaning we don't need to create as many chances to Darwin Nunez directly if Jota plays. The person who I prefer to start would be Gakpo. Gakpo is someone who was a clinical goal scorer. Everyone talks about Nunez getting 30 goals at Benfica. Gakpo got 20 goals and 20 assists at PSV. So if we're going to use stats in lower leagues, let's be fair to Gakpo as well. My man got 40 goal contributions and can most certainly, or has certainly shown he can do a Bobby Firmino role. And Bobby Firmino was the heart and soul of a team that got 97 and 99 points back to back. Gakpo isn't the same as Bobby Firmino, but he can do that role very well. And when Gakpo starts, our overall team still get a lot of chances. And now the majority of those chances are going to the Salahs, are going to the Diazes. And I'd like to even see how many more chances Szoboszlai would get in attacking positions if Gakpo was to play or to start. And now, what happens? Okay, then, well, Gakpo's had a good game or Jota hasn't. Let's bring on Darwizzy for the final 40-30 minutes and let's see what he can do. So if you've watched this video and you've taken out of this video, James, you've got an agenda, James, you hate Darwin Nunez, you are so disingenuous, or you can't fucking listen. It is untrue. Darwin Nunez cost us 3 points today because he had 2 clear sitters, not just chances, sitters. This is why I'm not saying he had 6 sitters. No, he had 2 clear chances that a world-class striker, £75 million, should be converting without question. But all these Nunez sexuals sit down and go, oh, but no, I love him. His hair's nice and he looks nice and his name's Nunez and he's flashy and he's a superstar. I agree, but let's maximise him. Let's play to his strengths. It's like Lukaku back at United could score goals, but you've got to play to his strengths, and that can take away from the overall team. Like Ronaldo at United, it can take away from the overall team if you're constantly giving one man the majority of your chances, whereas someone like Salah doesn't need as many chances, someone like Jota doesn't need as many chances. So give them the first 60 minutes, or Gakpo, give them the first 60 minutes, and then give Nunez the minutes where he does best, because stats is something that everyone loves, and stats say Nunez does better in the second half or when he comes off the bench, and we need to adhere towards that, and he cost us the game today. And yet you can sit there and go, well, James, the defence, I clarified at the beginning of the video, It's not 100% Darwin Nunez, but if he had scored that first goal in the first half, that now means Luton need to open up more. I can near enough guarantee you, based on evidence this season, once we score that first goal, it creates a flooding opening for us to go and score more. Whereas today that weren't there because Luton were composed, they were calm, because the goalkeeper was doing the job, and because the goalkeeper was doing the job, and because he didn't lose any confidence because he was saving every shot, his confidence was growing because Nunez was missing sitters. And if he scored those goals, the confidence now decreases. So that's why I'm making this point that I'm making. And you can't sit there and watch that game today and say, when a striker like that costs you goals, he never cost you the game. He cost us the game. It weren't solely him, but it was majorly him. The majority of the blame has to go to Nunez today. But this doesn't mean that I'm now right with everything I've been saying. But I have been saying he needs to be an impact sub. I've been getting a lot of hate for that opinion. And you can still say, James, that's an awful take. But I'm saying, based off evidence, Nunez is not beneficial in the first 45 minutes. He might look it because he's getting the chances. But what's Nunez's job? It's to convert. It's like saying if a goalkeeper scores free kicks, oh my goodness, he's a great free kick taker. But if he's doing onanas in the goal and he's not saving shots, well, now we've got a big problem. Might be scoring free kicks like that Brazilian goalkeeper years ago, but he's not doing the job that a goalkeeper's there to do. It's like Nunez. Okay, then great. He's getting a lot of chances himself, but I'm not here to watch highlight reels of Nunez getting 6 chances. I'm here to watch Nunez score goals, and he's missing sitters, not just once this season, every fucking week. You know what I mean? But this isn't a bad thing. This is a good thing to know. We can use Nunez off the bench, and he can be highly impactful. Think about Fernando Torres at Chelsea. Fernando Torres at Chelsea would miss a sitter every couple of months, but Nunez is doing this every single week. He's probably missed about 5 or 6 sitters already this season. He missed about 10 last season. This is not good enough for a starting Premier League striker, but that does not mean, and it should not be translated or misinterpreted to me saying, oh my goodness, Nunez has no place in the Liverpool team. He has a huge place in this Liverpool team. Would I sell Nunez tomorrow? Not a chance, because I've realised his value, which is why Nunez has actually proven me wrong. Nunez has proven me wrong because he does bring more value than what I actually thought he was going to bring, but it's not in the way I thought he was going to bring it. I thought he was going to start games, convert chances. Well, I never, but that's why he proved me wrong, because he ended up being better than what I thought. But he still does miss chances. And then the last point I'll say is he needs finishing practice. Believe me, guys, he will not get any better at finishing. He would have got better at finishing by now. My guy is someone who can be chaos. He can be a chance magnet. But in the main, he is not that dude to be converting chances. If he gets 4 every 6 chances, he's likely to score 1 of them. But the difference with Gakpo and Jota is they need 2 or 3. But they can Gakpo specifically can create more chances for the overall team, because we're no longer relying on solely him for the majority of the goals, and we're not just focusing on one man for the majority of the goals. So for me, because that ball that Trent put into Nunez in the first half and he just whacks it to the bar, a world-class striker scores that, and Nunez is a world-class striker, but for many different reasons. He's not a world-class finisher. He's a poor finisher, in my opinion. He has world-class goals. In fact, no, Paul's disingenuous. He's an okay finisher. But the fact that he misses this many sitters, you can't sit there and go, he's world-class at finishing. You just can't. You can't use just the best examples of somebody's career and say he's world-class for this reason. You've also got to look at the low moments and then balance it out all the way. It's like what we say about Trent. We say he's a world-class footballer, but none of us are saying he's a world-class defender, because evidence says he's not a world-class defender. This season he's been much better, but I mean overall. But it'd still be disingenuous to say he's not a world-class player. Same with Nunez, world-class player, but not a world-class finisher. Can he score goals? Yes, but he's still not a world-class finisher. Did he score 32 goals at Benfica? Yes, but Gakpo got 40 goal contributions at PSV. And evidence says that when he came in last season, we improved overall points tally-wise. And the reason why we lost today was because Nunez missed sitters. Even though we conceded a goal, we still would have had 1 or 2 goals by the time that they scored that goal if Nunez just converted those chances that he should have as a £75 million striker. Don't think I'm saying this is an agenda. Don't think I'm saying this is hate. I am being honest that we could have just lost the league title today. There'll be many more games where we're going to divert the blame to other players, but today is a big, big one. Luton Town, you've got to convert those chances, and that's what lost us this game today. So for me, that's why I'm being a bit more thingy on Darwin Nunez, and the reason why I've done this long monologue is because everyone seems to think I've got an agenda. I love Darwin Nunez more than you. How about that? You know what I mean? Because all you sit there with your Darwin Nunez nappies, not even knowing the player that you're watching. Understand that he's an impact sub. Understand that he scores the majority of his goals in the latter part of games. Understand that when Jota got regular games as a starter at number 9, the last time that happened, he scored 20 goals prior to January. Understand understand that when Gakpo came in as the false nine last season, we went on a long winning streak, which put us back into a top four conversation that we never had a right to be in. Not solely because of Gakpo, but because of the way the team played around Gakpo. And now because Nunez is there and the way we're playing around Nunez, we're doing everything we need. We're providing Nunez more than enough chances to score goals, but he's missing so many of them, which is why his goal tally is only 7 goals in the league this season and not 17 goals in the league this season, because his finishing is okay. You know what I mean? It's okay. These sitters aren't good enough, guys. We need to be honest. We need to be intellectually honest and say, maybe there's a different role for Nunez, but still a role. And anyone who says there's no role for Nunez, you're just being disingenuous. He's still a quality player. He's just not a quality finisher, that's all. But anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. I think any hope of a league title charge isn't off, but it's certainly less likely, and that's a poor result. That's terrible to be going away to Luton and getting a draw. But fair play to Luton. I thought they'd done the job that they needed to do, and the way they played today was fantastic. So if you're a Luton fan, you should be proud. But otherwise, I put the majority blame down to Darwin Nunez. We should have done better for the defensive goal that we ended up conceding with Chong. Got caught on the counter-attack, but we should have been 2 or 3-0 up by that point anyway. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all later.